The key to the new door. Jason stood before the towering brick dormitory, a single heavy box in his arms. The air smelled of freshly cut grass and possibilities. For the first time, the keys in his pocket belonged to a door that wasn't his parents'. He was officially on his own, and the weight of the box felt like the weight of his entire future. The room was smaller than he had imagined, and much quieter. There was no smell of his mother's cooking, only the scent of floor wax and old wood. He sat on the bare mattress, looking at the mountain of unpacked boxes. He realized that if he wanted the bed made or the posters hung, he was the only one who could do it. By Tuesday, the mountain of laundry had become a real threat to his floor space. Jason wandered into the basement, staring at the rows of humming machines like they were alien technology. "Need a hand?" a voice asked. It was Sora, a student from his biology lecture who always seemed to have her life together. Sora showed him the difference between whites and colors and how not to turn his favorite sweater into a doll-sized garment. As the water began to swirl, Jason realized that adulthood wasn't about knowing everything immediately. It was about being brave enough to ask for directions when the map didn't make sense. Dinner was the next great challenge. Without a microwave in his room, Jason had to use the communal kitchen. He accidentally burned the toast, and the pasta was a little too crunchy, but it was his pasta. He sat by the window, taking a bite and watching the campus lights flicker on like fallen stars. At the grocery store, the aisles felt like a complex maze. Jason looked at his phone, comparing the price of name-brand cereal to the store brand. $5 here, $3 there. Suddenly, the math he learned in school felt very relevant to his actual survival. He was learning the value of $1, one box of oats at a time. The first big exam loomed like a dark cloud. Jason sat in the library until the moon rose high, surrounded by neon highlighters and empty coffee cups. The weight of his new life felt heavy again, and his head dropped toward the table. Then, a familiar blue notebook slid into his field of vision. "You're doing better than you think," Sora whispered, handing him a small chocolate bar. "Nobody learns to fly without a few shaky landings. I barely survived my first semester, too." Jason took a bite of the chocolate, and the bitterness of the late-night study session felt a little sweeter. Weeks passed, and the rhythm of the university became his own heartbeat. The bare walls of his room were now covered in posters, photos of friends, and a calendar full of deadlines. His bed was made, and his small desk plant was still green. Jason realized he wasn't just living in a dorm anymore, he was building a home. He picked up his phone and called home. "Hey, Mom," he said, leaning back in his chair and looking out at the quad. "I did my own laundry today, and I actually enjoyed the pasta I made." He laughed, finally realizing that being an adult wasn't a destination he had to reach, but a journey he was already walking.